Jennifer Lopez's career is in absolute crisis mode. Hit the red button. All cylinders need to be fired. Not even Kris Jenner, the PR mastermind expert that she is, could save this sinking ship. This is actually maybe the biggest flop we've ever seen in the world. She's flopping harder than a beached whale washed on the shore, flopping harder than Katy Perry did in 2017. And just when you think JLo has hit the peak of her devastating flop, there's just another great wall of reality to come and hit her in the face and take it to an even more insurmountable level of flop. I'm very worried for her. So I want to chronicle this series of events because I feel like this saga is really entertaining the general public a lot. I feel like they think it's this Dr. Evil type of character that has been able to get away with a lot and control the narrative for a long time, losing her power. And I think people are reveling in it a bit, and I can't lie, so am I. So I want to talk about how her flop has even gotten worse. She was seen in Italy alone without Ben, flying on a commercial on the way there and back. Her beauty brand is now going under. All of her business endeavors, all of her entertainment endeavors are now all failing. And I want to talk about how this is probably affecting her mental health. I want to analyze where she should go after this and if this is karma at the end of the video. So before we get into it, make sure to subscribe to enroll here at Pop Culture University and become a student. This is a PhD level course, so you better be prepared to take your notes and learn from Professor Patty. Be a teacher's pet, do what I want you to do, or I'll bring you to the front of the class and spank you on the booty with a ruler. And yeah, like the video. Let's get into it. Okay, so Jennifer Lopez, she really is having the biggest losing streak of all time. Someone needs to study what this is doing to her mental health. She needs to get a brain scan because 2023 was like a fine year for her. She seemed to be getting her like quiet and humble story ending. She was back with Ben Affleck and they were going to get married. And I think a lot of people found that heartwarming. Her sprinkled out sporadic fans around the country who still care were probably very happy for her. And it was looking up for JLo. But now JLo has hit a new low. And in 2024, it has been the worst year, I think, out of any celebrity that's having a steep market decline. It is Jennifer Lopez. Her stock is very, very down. And it all started when she put out her new album, This Is Me Now. And the album itself is not terrible. I gave it a listen through. It's just giving like generic AI generated pop. It's not searingly bad or cancerous to the ear as some people are making it out to be. It's just an average pop album, but the interest was just not there anymore. And she had big ambitions for this. She wanted this to be her magnum opus. It turned out to be her magnum flopus because she had like a grand slam of L's in a row. Like a grand slam, I think in baseball is when you get 4 points at once. And she struck out with her album, the album movie, because she made a movie about the album that was like a string of music videos. But don't tell her it's a string of music videos because that's disrespecting her art. It is not just music videos. It's made by AI, very high budget, that she funded herself, $30 million of her own money just to flop. And then she made a documentary that was behind the scenes of the album movie because she thought people were wanting all of this content from her. And I do, like I said, like I respect the ambition, I respect the hustle. A lot of these artists out here, they want to get a few hits and then never try again and live off that money. And I guess that's their prerogative. But I do respect JLo for trying to give something to her fans. But something about it tells me that this wasn't for her fans, this is for her ego. Because her tour also flopped and she couldn't sell out a stadium because she's not the legend like Beyonce is. So because of that, she just canceled the tour altogether. It was actually very sad to see because she originally branded the tour as a tour for just this album, This Is Me Now. But when that wasn't selling well, she had to make it a greatest hits tour, and then that wasn't selling well, and then she just had to cancel the tour. And instead of just downgrading venue size, she just totally canceled it. She didn't want to go to a theater because that'd be to her ego. She didn't want to go to an arena. She wanted to do a stadium or nothing. she said, I'm being the icon of the year or nothing. She doesn't care about just performing for a few of her fans that love her. She wanted to perform for a bunch of the general public that just likes her for now, not her true J lovers, as she calls them. So she canceled the tour. She had to refund dozens of tickets, unfortunately. And I want to read you a review from her album and the album movie and documentary. I think this really sums it up. A lot of people were just calling it a vanity project, that JLo loves JLo, and that is about it. And I can't disagree with them. So this reviewer says, I was in awe in the worst possible way. I cannot fathom the level of ego and cognitive dissonance required to believe that not only was the world waiting with bated breath to see a feature film that details your love life, but that it's wise to spend 30 million of your own dollars producing it. I don't begrudge JLo for her success in life or in work, but her self-obsession is unreal. This movie is what happens when a woman who never hears the word no has money to burn and has every whim catered to her to run amok. That's absolutely true. And the documentary, she wanted it to be like behind the scenes of a genius at work, as if she's like Kanye, like doing like his, admittedly genius, but just wackadoodle time ideas. It really just came across as a documentary about a woman who is surrounded by yes men, who is her own worst enemy and has skyrocketed to the planet of delusion and is so far out of touch that she's not even close. And it was very sad to see. I feel like in JLo's endeavor to always be remembered and be a legend, which I do think is cool. Like, I love her drive. In that pursuit to never be forgotten, she now changed how she's going to be remembered. And that's very upsetting. It's like when an athlete retires at their peak and then they kind of like miss out on the sport and they're like, maybe I'm not too old to keep going, so they come back out of retirement and then they lose really bad and it changes their legacy completely and they wish they never did in the first place. I feel like that's what's kind of happening here. The fifth flop in this series of unfortunate events was her Vegas show. So one part of me thinks she didn't want to go back to the Vegas trip because Mariah Carey was a little bit too close, so she didn't really care about Vegas in the first place. But I think she was done with her Vegas residency. She used to have one, but she doesn't want to go back there. She doesn't want to be a legacy act anymore. She wants to be with the new fun girls in their 20s. I mean, Beyonce's in her 40s and she's killing it, being the biggest star in the world. And I think JLo saw that and she was like, I can do it. But I think she just miscalculated her status in the music industry, I guess. But yeah, she didn't want to join the gals like Mariah Carey, and I don't think Mariah Carey wanted her to join her on the Vegas trip. So she wanted the tour to avoid it. Then after the tour got canceled, there's rumors she's going back to Vegas and she was going to get paid $1 million per show. But after the tour sales were so abysmal, they decided to not offer her as much as last time, which was $1 million, and then just keep notching down the price. And now reports are coming out that she may lose the Vegas residency in its entirety. So she's not performing overseas, she's not performing in Vegas. It's very sad. And not to knock a Vegas performer, I think there's so many iconic acts who are absolutely still super relevant and on top of their game, like Adele in Vegas. She's just a mom. She likes the stability and she likes that she can perform for people all over the world, but they just get to come to her, and I think that's amazing. And I love Adele. The sixth round of the flop is her show Atlas. I mean, it's just belly flop after belly flop with her. And I love that the word flop should be in like the Webster dictionary, not just the Urban Dictionary anymore, because it's so just like the quintessential word to describe someone who's kind of failing right now. So Atlas, you know, you think someone in her position would just recluse, would just seek refuge in their bedroom by themselves and not come out for a while and hope to just disappear. I mean, that's what I would do. But she was like, no, I'm actually coming out with a show on Netflix. And that show on Netflix called Atlas did not do very well at all. It only got an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 1.5 out of 5 stars on IMDb. So I guess the appetite for JLo, not just for the music, but the acting has died down. No one wants to see JLo anymore. Not even mi gente Latino. Mi gente Latino. Sorry, but I think I'm annoying for that joke. But I just think JLo needs to have a therapist around her. She needs to be on some sort of a watch list, because not only is she getting all the scrutiny that comes along with failing in the public eye, it's just hard to fail back to back for your soul. And the bullying of JLo, I don't know if it would be considered that. I'd say the exposing of JLo, it's gonna make her do something scary. So she needs to be on a watch list. But I can't not recount what's going on in public. As the professor of pop culture, I need to tell you what's going on in the world. So the next part of this terrible trajectory of her career that some people say she may deserve is that her attitude has been exposed, and people say she's a bad person and bad things happen to bad people. As you know, there's been so many TikToks coming out exposing that JLo has a terrible attitude. Me choca la actitud. JLo muy mal, muy feo. She is beautiful, you have to admit. She really is gorgeous. And I love when her few fans try to defend her on TikTok, and every time they try to defend her, they're like, how dare you come for the beautiful JLo? Like, they always call her the beautiful JLo, and I think it's hilarious, but it's such a pity that a woman so pretty has an ugly heart. So there's a bunch of TikToks of people describing things that JLo has done to them in their encounters with her, like she doesn't allow her employees to look her in the face. For example, her cab drivers, if they look around, even in the rear view mirror while they're driving, and JLo thinks they're staring at them or trying to get a look at her, she will fire them. She's apparently very horrible to her nannies, to waiters at restaurants, service workers. She won't tip, or if Ben Affleck tips too much, she'll take back the tip because she thinks Ben is being too generous and she's not about that life. But not only that, now like other celebrities are coming out about their bad stories about JLo. Meghan Trainor came forward that she had a good experience with JLo, but she knows that JLo picks and chooses who she's nice to. I was like, damn, Meghan the Trainor, Meghan with the T. I love that. She was not afraid to expose a bitch. And to me, that kind of makes it worse because JLo knows how to be nice to people. She's just choosing not to be. That kind of sucks when someone, they know how they want to make people feel, but only if they think they can get something from them or if it's worth being nice to them. It makes it so much worse than if someone in general is just like aloof and is kind of an asshole to everyone. Then it's like you wouldn't take it personally. But Chris Olsen came forward and said he had a bad interaction with her. Trisha Paytas came forward and said that she had a bad interaction with her. And if Trisha Paytas had a bad interaction with you, like, you know it was bad, because I feel like Trisha's had bad interactions with with her fans about her. Meghan McCain, this is hilarious because Meghan McCain has like a pretty big podcast and she talked about me in an episode, me and JLo in the same episode, because yes, I begrudge JLo slightly for the time that she sent me a cease and desist and came for my bank and my life. I'm still kind of upset with that. I made a whole YouTube about why she sent me a cease and desist, and her lawyer, Jennifer Marr, threatened me and told me if I don't take down all my posts about her, that I will face consequences, blah, 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 and I can't talk about it or they'll sue me. Here I am talking about it. I will not be silenced. Love you, JLo. And I want to say everything in this video is alleged to JLo's lawyer, Jennifer Marr. Of course, they have the same name because everyone to Jennifer Lopez is just Jennifer number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. There was a Jennifer number 4, but she got meningitis. She was like, I'm sick, I have to go home. And Jennifer Lopez was like, no, stay. But she went home anyway, and then she died. So another thing JLo was right about, but yeah. Meghan McCain said when JLo would come on The View, she was the worst guest ever. Allegedly, JLo's lawyers. Meghan McCain said she was deeply unpleasant. I would hate if 2 words to describe me were deeply unpleasant. She said, quote, she came on The View many times as a guest. She was not my favorite. I know my experience. It was not nice. She was not nice. Bigger entourage than any celebrity I've ever seen. Bigger than Kim Kardashian, bigger than the president. And the president is like required to walk around with a whole crew of Secret Service at all times. Like you can't even eat, like, the president can't even eat food without someone tasting it first to make sure it isn't poisoned. So that's crazy that Jennifer Lopez had a bigger entourage than the president, and that was deeply unpleasant on the show. Like the nerve of her. She thinks her shit don't stink, and she's up on Mars. Crazy. So JLo was at the Met Gala as well. I'm sure you've seen this clip, but I think the Met Gala is a place where someone can get exposed for their true selves because there is a camera, a video angle of you at all angles at all times because it's a 360 carpet. So you're being recorded 100% of the time, and how you treat all the service workers around you because there's a ton attached to the carpet kind of just exposes who you are. There's people like Keke Palmer and Cardi B, like, it'd be so nice to everyone on the carpet. And then there's people like JLo, who the second someone asks her what she's wearing, she like gives them the nastiest stank side eye. And she's like, Schiaparelli.
What are you wearing tonight? Schiaparelli.
You probably can't spell Schiaparelli, can you? And then keeps like walking up. She's like, don't worry what Schiaparelli is. You won't need to know. Her attitude was just so terrible in that post. So she's kind of getting exposed from all angles. She's definitely getting exposed for not being from the block, the proverbial block that she says she's from, the Bronx. She even had to like ask an interviewer, when an interviewer asked her what that orange drink was that she would allegedly always get at bodegas in the Bronx. The orange drink that she claimed in her Vogue interview, she was asked about it in an interview. So we can all finally know, you know, she's not gatekeeping anymore. She said it's literally just like an orange little drink in a can that looked like a carton, or not a carton, like it looked like a barrel, and it's just like a juice. It sounds like she's still lying to me. It sounds like the facade of the Bronx is still up. But I thought the orange drink was Ben Affleck's piss because of all the Dunkin' Donuts iced coffees he drinks, because that's like all we see him drink. I don't know. Speaking of Ben Affleck, the 8th or 9th round of her flop, not only has she lost her business endeavors and her entertainment endeavors, she's allegedly also losing Ben Affleck. TMZ, we can hate on them all they want, but they have eyes and ears everywhere, and 99% of the time when they say something happens, it's happening. So TMZ is putting out a like whole documentary movie called JLo and Ben Missing Warning Signs, because they say she is for sure getting divorced from Ben Affleck. Or are they even married or just engaged? I don't even know. But that would be like the final blow to JLo, and I'm actually worried for her. And the whole concept of the album was like, I finally came back to you, like after 20 years, we're finishing our love story together. I didn't give up on love. So I think that's kind of why JLo's trying to hide it right now, despite TMZ saying, quote, everyone saw it coming like a freight train running down the track, and that they're clearly getting divorced. JLo is allegedly Jennifer Marr staging paparazzi photos of them together, him buying her flowers, him being there for her, even though she just went on an Italy vacation by herself with just her team, no Ben. It looked like such a romantic vacation, and then flew back in commercial, like she flew on a commercial flight on the way home. And like, I cannot fathom that Jennifer Lopez was flying a commercial flight on the way home. I don't know if this is like a ploy to make people think she's like this relatable girl, or she's trying to like win back the hearts of people, or the private jet was booked because they gave it to someone that was not flopping. I don't know what was going on. There were so many pictures of Jennifer Lopez just on the plane, like slumped over, like probably listening to her own music while staring out the window because she loves herself. But it looks like she was straight up not having a good time on that commercial flight. And JLo, I don't blame you. I don't even like flying a commercial flight. So not that I ever have flown anything else besides that, but I just don't like it. And if I had the option, of course I would. And I don't think this is like a selfless act of reducing her carbon emissions. People just think, oh my God, is JLo like really going broke or something? I don't know. going on here? Probably not, but it's just very interesting to see. And people have their theories about why she was seen flying coach. But the gag is that her and Ben, they built a $60 million house together in Beverly Hills. And now after it was built from scratch, after they were just about to move into it or like just moving into it and were living their life, finally after years or a year of getting it built, they sell it. And now Jennifer is in Beverly Hills with a real estate agent looking for a house by herself. To me, that is just the smoking gun that she is getting divorced. And that actually makes me sad for her. It really does. And even though she is in Beverly Hills, that's way too close to me. I live in West Hollywood. We're like neighbors. I would like to stay out of the crossfire of JLo because I love her. I love you, JLo. Don't come for me. But it is just sad to see someone like JLo come to terms with their mediocrity. You know what I mean? I saw a different YouTuber talk about what's really happening with JLo here is that she's never been able to come to terms with her mediocrity. And that's why she was shooting for the stars here and then being flopped to Miss Prime in front of everyone. And I think I saw this like spiritual leader on TikTok talking about like a lot of our problems are that we just cannot admit that we're average and normal and mediocre. And we should stop being so ego obsessed and not even in like a I love myself way and like a I'm worried about myself way. I'm anxious about what I need to do and what I need to prove. You don't need to prove anything. You're just mediocre like the rest of us. When Jane Fonda was on the phone for her cameo in the JLo movie about her album, Jane Fonda was like, seems like you're trying to prove something. I love when like a wise, mature icon, true icon like Jane Fonda can just tell you like, it seems like you're trying to prove something and this doesn't seem natural. She was absolutely right. Jane Fonda was trying to be so straight up with her. Be real, like JLo's brand. I'm real. You are nothing of the sort. So Jane Fonda was trying to help her come to terms with how this was going to happen, but she didn't listen. Do I think this is karma? No, I don't think this is karma. I think I don't really believe in all that karma mumbo jumbo. I do love the song Karma by Taylor Swift. Love Taylor Swift. Karma, I think, cannot exist given the fact that there are so many terrible people in the world doing so well, being so rich, stomping on people who are actually kind and better human beings than them. So I don't think this is karma. I think, you know that phrase, the cream rises to the top? I think this is an example of the contrary, the opposite. The worst is going to go to the bottom. And when I say that, I mean these people with real talent, real artistic integrity, real connection with their fans, they're going to rise to the top and be icons like the Beyoncés, like the Taylors. And then there's people who were kind of just smoke and mirrors the whole time and not caring about their fans and not being good people and good people to work with and good celebrities. They're going to naturally one day fall because that's what they've set themselves up for. I don't think it's karma at all. I think it was just only a matter of time. And JLo, with her delusion and not realizing how far she should have taken it, that's why she ended up where she is. And if I was her going forward, I would definitely just take a step back. I would reassess every aspect of my whole career. And honestly, I would just invest or, you know, start to make some of that money back that I lost in these endeavors. I would do my best to try to get the public back on my side. I would remind them of why they fell in love with me in the first place, whether that mean like re-releasing some of her old hits, still going on a tour with a smaller arena to actually prove to her fans that she likes them and doing her greatest hits for them, doing the Vegas show and just giving the best performance that she possibly can, being more charitable, being more open with the public. Did we get to the part where her makeup line was flopping? I don't really remember if we did, because I was about to say she should be more real on social media, because there's that video of her using her own makeup line with like a blurred filter over it and she was not even applying her own makeup. So her makeup line is flopping as well. People have been posting viral photos of it literally collecting dust in the racks at makeup stores and on the clearance shelf. They've repriced it like 4 or 5 times, just like they repriced her album 4 or 5 times on the clearance shelf. I'm not saying this to like dig at her. This is just really happening. I'm not saying this to be a cunt. It's just actually what's going on here. But yeah, she's apparently lost her place in Sephora allegedly as well. It's definitely competitive to keep your makeup on the shelves in Sephora. And I think other celebrities who actually have a passion and a well-lit brand for themselves like Fenty and Rare Beauty and Rem Beauty, they will keep the Sephora spots. Well, JLo will unfortunately not anymore. JLo Beauty, their whole store is discounted online if you would like to go get yourself some, but it seems like it's the next upcoming thing that's not going well for her. So honestly, in the end, I don't know how JLo is going to come forward from this. I feel like she needs intensive inpatient therapy 5 times a day, and maybe she should just like go on an ayahuasca vacation. I'm not sure what to do for her, but that's the update with JLo. And again, everything in here is alleged. Love JLo to death. Not to death. I don't, actually. Okay, well, thank you for joining, and make sure to subscribe, join the university, enroll here at PCU, like the video, share it, comment how you think JLo should handle this. If you think this is JLo's karma, I would love to know how you think about all these topics. I will definitely reply to you in the comments. Check out my Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Petty Pop Culture, my podcast, Pop Culture University, for more conversations like this, my Snapchat show, Unfiltered Pop. And I appreciate all my students. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Mwah.